Hello everyone. Thank you for joining these little snippets or these little videos. I don't make them very often, but I thought it was kind of important this time of year to reiterate the fact that I do not believe that the Mashiach was born on December 25th. And I'll explain the reason why I don't believe this. But first off, let's go into Scripture a little bit and the Hebrew word. We have the Hebrew word Chag. It's Kate Gimel. I'm not sure if there's an aleph there, but in Hebrew, this Chag or this Chag is a festival. It is a festival. It is not a feast. Okay? Many times people say, oh, we have 7 feasts of Yahuwah. Or no. We don't have 7 feasts of Yahuwah. We never had 7 feasts of Yahuwah. We have to erase that from our mindset. We have 3 Chags. Okay? 3 of them. And in Deuteronomy 16, I believe, it says that all males 20 and above must go to these Chags, period. There's no whether you want to or not, you must go to them. Alright, so we know the very first one, alright, and I'm going to cover this real quick. We have 114, which is a full moon. We know that's Pesach. Okay, that's a gimme. Everyone knows that, and it's on a full moon, and it's the 14th day of the first month. Then the next day is 115, and then we have the whole week until 122. Now this is 7 days plus 1. It is a Chag. It is not a feast. It is a festival, and we must attend. And we have a good time. We bring our best food and have celebrations all through the week, and plus it's called matzah. It's the feast of matzah, the unleavened bread. Okay, so that's a gimme. Nobody disagrees with this, I don't think. Okay, well, if you're a Christian or something, you might. But anyway. And we know that Psalms 104 verse 19 says that the moon, the Yurak, is for the Moedeem. That's no question about that. Also in Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, it also says the moon is for the Moedeem. Alright, now we also have, and I'm going to cover these 2 Chags first, and then I'm going to get into the third one, which is where all the controversy comes in. 7:14, we have a full moon. We know the next day is a feast of Sukkot, 7:15 to 7:22. Nobody really has any problems with that either. We have 2 full moons, 115, 122, a full moon, 715, 722. Now, when we get to Shabbat, which some people call Pentecost or Shabbaots, but it's Shabuah. It's 7 weeks. It's 7 sevens. It's not Pentecost or 50. It's Shabuah, which is 7 weeks. Now, we can get into all 5 books of the Torah, and you will find only in one place does it say, and count 50. And I'm going to cover that and count 50 here in a minute. But let's go to Moshe, or Moses, at Mount Sinai. They arrived there on 3:15, and Yahuwah speaks to Moshe, or Moshe, on 3:16, and he says, get ready, get cleaned up for 2 days, and on the third day I'm going to come down and talk to you. So, on the 16th he says that. They clean up on the 16th and the 17th. Possibly the 18th or the 19th is when Yahuwah came down and he spoke the 10 Commandments. Okay? This is at 3:15, 3:16, and 3:22. Now, there's no question about that. That's in Exodus. You can read it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But it's there. Okay? And it is on a full moon. Okay? There's the full moon there. Okay? Right here. There's a full moon there. And it started on 3:15. Now, we know, if you're a lunar Sabbath keeper, we know that the 15th of every month is a Shabbat. It's just a Shabbat. So we know this was a Shabbat and this is a Shabbat. Okay, this is the time when Moses and Israel received the 10 Commandments. Alright, that is in the scriptures. There's no question about it. Many people say that this was the same time that the apostles received the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, if that's the case, it was at 3:15 to 3:22. It was not count 7 and then count 50. It was at 3:15 to 3:22. Now, I'm going to make the point here, and the reason I'm using this. Now, again, if you don't believe the Shabbat is a Moed, I would highly suggest you read Leviticus 23, verse 1 to 4. And if you can tell me, no, it is not a Moedeem, then I could call you a liar, because that says that the Shabbat is a Moed. And all Moeds are kept by the moon. Okay, let's move on. We have 3 Chags that we're supposed to go to Jerusalem and go to the temple. 1:15, 3:15, and 7:15. Now, that is what the scripture says. Now, we can say this is only 1 day, which we've always been told, but I know Moses and them were up there a lot longer than 1 day, because Yahuwah didn't talk to them until the 16th. Alright? So, we're going by what the book says, what the scripture says. This is when they received the 10 Commandments, the Feast of Weeks. 3:15 to 3:22 on a full moon, and it is a Chag, which is, Chags are festivals which are 7 days long, just like Matzah and just like Sukkot. Okay? And the word Chag is there, is not the word feast. Okay? It is not the word feast. A feast is where you just grill up some T-bone steaks and invite your neighbors over and have mashed potatoes and gravy and have a, whatever you do, they do, what do you call that, anyway, just make a big old banquet, and that's what you call a feast. Now, we already described 3 of them that are not feasts. They are Chags. They are festivals. All right? Now, Passover, Pesach, is not a feast. Yes, we're eating that day, but we're also staying in our house so the death angel will pass over us. Okay? It's more of getting all the leaven out so the death angel will pass over us. It's not like a joyous occasion. All right? Now, that's another one that I wouldn't classify as a feast or something that's happy. It's a moed. It is an appointed time. But then we also have the other one, Kafarim. Okay, I'm misspelling my Hebrew. But Kafarim, we know it as the Feast of Atonement, which most people Not a requirement though, but most people fast on the Feast of Atonement or on Atonement. And I'm even using the word feast, but if it was a feast, we'd be cooking T-bone steaks. We wouldn't be fasting, or we wouldn't be cleansing ourselves. Okay, so that's 5 out of the 6 or out of the 7 per se feast that are not feast. Okay, I would say yes. The 16th, the first day of the first fruit could be a feast. Okay, and then I could say that the feast of Yom Teruah, the feast of trumpets, could be a feast. It's a new moon day. You're supposed to have a holy convocation. Have a feast. So out of all 7 of them, I would say just 2 of them could be feast. All right. Now, let's go back to where I'm going to cover covenants. All right. Now, we know a covenant is very important. Matter of fact, we stand on the covenant of Abraham, where if you are circumcised, you have an inheritance in the land of Yasharel. Okay, that is forever and ever and ever and ever. Now, that's circumcision. Okay, now we have the covenant before circumcision. Okay, let's go to Noah. All right, Noah. All right, when was the covenant of the rainbow and Yahuwah would not destroy the earth forever, and we were not supposed to eat blood? What day did that happen? Search the scriptures. I dare you to, because I had to, and you know what? It's not in scripture, but I can tell you where it's at. All right. Now, I'm not saying the book of Jubilees is perfect. I'm not saying the book of Enoch is perfect. I'm not saying the book of Jashar is perfect. But what I am saying is sometimes it adds to what we have in our scriptures. Now, I checked for Noah's covenant in scripture, and nowhere does it say what day it was. Now, in the book of Jubilees, it says it is and it's called the Weeks, the Festival of Weeks. And this is in the book of Jubilees. You can read chapter 14, 15, and 16, and everything I'm going to explain to you here is in them 3 chapters, but there's also, I'm going to bring out some scriptures as well. This is what the book of Jubilees says, is when the covenant of Noah was, the rainbow earth is not going to be destroyed no more, and we're not supposed to eat blood. Now, that was what they called the Feast of Weeks, all right? That was called Shabuah, all right? Now, that is a festival, which was a 7-day long festival, all right? Now, again, that was with Noah. Now, now you can recall Abram. We're going to go with Abram. Abram, before his name was changed to Abraham, Yahuwah made a covenant with him. And Yahuwah, Abraham split the animals in half. He fell asleep. Yahuwah's essence or his esteem passed through the pieces, and the covenant was made between Yahuwah and Abram right there, that his seed was going to be as numerous as the stars and was going to inherit actually the earth. All right. Now, this was, what date was that in our scriptures? I'm waiting. It's not in our scriptures. But you can check me. I had to do the checking. All right. in the book of Jubilees, guess what? It was on Shabbat, the of weeks, the festival of weeks, the Chag of weeks. Okay? What? Okay, well that's okay. Alright, anyway, I'm going to cover one more covenant, and then I have to stop this video, because if they get too long I can't put them on on Facebook. But anyway, this is not in scriptures, but is in the book of Jubilees, the Shavuot of weeks, the festival of weeks. This was not in our scriptures, but is in the festival of weeks in the book of Jubilees. Now the next one I'm going to cover is Abraham. Okay, we know about the rainbow. We know about the split animals. Now we go to Abraham. Now, the covenant of circumcision. And this is going to be a sign forever and ever and ever with Abraham and his seed. This is another covenant. We're talking about some serious covenants here, guys. Alright? Very serious covenants. In Scripture, what date did that happen? I'm sorry. It's not in Scripture. I don't care how hard you search. I searched for it. But in the book of Jubilees, again, it was on the Chag, or the festival of Shavuot, 3:15 to 3:22. The festival of weeks. Now, I can't make this up, okay? This is in the book of Jubilees. We know that Moshe received the 10 Commandments between 3:15 and 3:22. So that makes 4 covenants made on 3:15 to 3:22. Now, these here, the dates, are not in our scriptures, but they are in the book of Jubilees. Now, if Yahuwah uses this date, or this festival, or this Chag, for covenants, wouldn't he continue to do it? And we also know that they say that the Ruach HaKodesh came upon the apostles on a Pentecost, or Shavuot, but there is no date on that either. So, at this time, I'll wrap up it. Check these dates out in Scripture. Alright, check these dates out again in Jubilees, chapter 14, 15, and 16. They're all there. And we'll come with what you've got. Alright, thank you for letting me share, and you guys have a beautiful day.